Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Tuesday, August the 8th. The year's 2023. Let's talk trading. Overtrading with Walmal. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and different from Walmal. Walmal, I think both of us have cut down on the number of trades per day because we used to be up in the 50 range. But
Yeah,
we're closer to 20, I think, now. Or
yeah, it's
even
probably
less.
yeah. For me anyway, it's typically I'm getting somewhere between 10 and 20 trades a day. Some days, like today, I got 18 trades so far today. But and yeah, I've cut down significantly, and I think part of the reason why I've cut down significantly, there's a couple of reasons, but the number one reason why is I'm just being a little bit more, you know, judicious with my trades. Yeah, I take the trades as the trades come up. I say that all the time. You got to take the trade to be in the trade to win the trade, right? It's sort of like the lottery expression. You got to be in it to win it, but
Yeah.
at the same time, you can be in it to lose it. And so I'm just making sure that when I go into a trade, that all of my conditions are being met. And I'm not. Oh, it's going to get met, and I jump in early. And the next thing I know, you're taking a loss because no, really, the condition really didn't get met, and next thing you know, it falls off a cliff on you, and now you're ticking yourself off. I only waited, and then of course, when you get stopped out, then what happens is that, 15, 20 minutes after that, you see it actually get to where you originally got in, and then a little bit after that, it goes to where you actually thought it was going to get to, and then you start saying, if I only had waited an hour,
Yeah.
and you get into that game. And as opposed to, hey, just wait for all the conditions to be met, be more disciplined. And that's the thing about being a trader is you got to be disciplined. You got to do what you say you're going to do, and then do it and execute it. And then what you can do is you can then sit there and run the numbers. Is it working? If it's working, then hey, this is great. And if it's not working, well, why isn't it working? Is it not working because you're not executing properly? Is it because you're not seeing something that's obviously there? Is it not working just because current market conditions? Any of those can go and trigger. We talked about these. I think it was yesterday. We talked about losing streaks. And any one of those things, you can take a loss. Taking a loss is no big deal. Taking two losses, and you start getting to wonder, and then three losses, then you start doubting the method. Well, don't doubt the method. Just doubt whether or not you're actually executing it correctly, and then correct what you're doing and have the proper, viewpoint or the proper, I guess, way of looking at it, what's going on, and executing it properly.
Right.
And you'll do so much better off. But that's kind of my idea. The other reason why I've cut down tremendously on trades was I was finding that, at the end of the day, I'd walk away from my trading desk, and I just was like literally, physically and emotionally and brain drained. There was just nothing left. And sort of like, why am I doing this? I'm doing this for my family. I'm trading like this for my family in order to be able to support them and do the things, the fun things that they want to go and do, and I want to go and do. But I'd walk away from the desk and I couldn't do them because I was just so emotionally, and like I said, emotionally, physically, and brain drained that I couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Oh, by
And
the way, we got top of the hour.
yes, sir. So so I had just made a decision, probably back around January, February, maybe March, but somewhere in that first quarter of the year, that I just was going to go and try to be a little bit more disciplined and try to cut down the number of trades I was taking so that I can go and you're not guaranteed you're not guaranteed your next breath. So I want to go and make sure that my breaths are being used in a way that's that I'm able to go and use them for the benefit of my family and for going and taking care of the things that are most important. And for me, family is the most important thing.
So one of the other things about taking less trades, you've also taken some stress off by changing your position size.
Yes, I have. I've cut my position size in half, and it's interesting because since I've done that, and I have not had a losing day since I've done that, and this isn't like a week or two of doing this. No, this is like, probably 6 months. I've not had a losing day. I've had losing trades, obviously, but I've not had a losing day. Now, some of those days, I may have only, made, literally 5 pips, 10 pips for the day, but it wasn't a losing day. And I think it's just, it's not this stress of seeing that much money going in and out very, very quickly. And it's just taking the stress off. And I think that we all have to go and gauge, what we're able to handle, from a point of view of what we're able to handle emotionally. And I think I was not trading too heavy for my account, but I think I was trading too heavy for my emotions. And not that I was losing a lot. I had a lot of losing days the previous year. I think I had, if I recall correctly, 12 losing days the previous year. But now I got 0, and where, 3/4 of the way through the year, and so, or 2/3 of the way through the year. And so I can't complain about that. And it's just, and I'm walking away from the desk, and I'm not, I'm able to go out and play with the grandkids, go out and do things with my wife, do all the things I need to go and do, to go and support what I consider to be important in my life.
Now, the one thing you were saying about, or the whole idea about overtrading is, since we used to trade a bunch and we could have probably been accused of being overtrading, what did you decide to stop doing? Or what did you start doing that you weren't doing before?
The biggest thing that I was doing towards my overtrading was let's say I had 3 conditions that needed to be met in order to take the trade. And if I had 2 of them already, and it looked like, and that's the key word there, it looked like I'm going to go and actually meet the 3rd condition, I'd jump in early. And that's where I'd get myself into trouble. Because then what would happen is then I have to go and, either add on, to go and make it work out, or I wind up just scratching the trade because it's not working out because the condition never got met. And that's usually what really happened, was I scratched out more than anything else. So I'd take a pip loss or a 2 pip loss or something like that. But I do that several times a day. And then I wound up having to take more trades to make up for the losses I was making. And so, it was a battle, to, let's say it was up, I have a goal, and I have freely admit this, I don't, being transparent about it. But my goal is that, it used to be that I wanted to make 10 pips a day. I've increased that to basically 17 pips, 16.7 if you really want to be technical about it, but in any case, I want to make 17 pips per day. And what would happen is that I'd go and get to 10 pips, then I'd get into one of these trades where I, wound up being overzealous on the trade, and next thing you know, I've taken a 2 or 3 pip loss, and the next thing you know, so now I'm down to 7 or 8 pips, then I'd go and take another trade, and if I was overzealous again, well, now I'm down to 4 pips. Now you start getting kind of like, oh, shoot, what have I done to myself here? And then finally, you go and take a trade, and maybe you make 4 or 5 pips, you make up some of it, and take another trade, and make up another 4 or 5 pips, and now you're back to where you were when you had your loss, and now you still got to go to get to what I consider to be my core. I still got to go and win at least 2 more trades, and then take those trades. Hopefully I'm smart enough to go and take the trades as they fully develop and get them. But you can see just by, you wind up taking if you wind up taking trades that you shouldn't have taken, well, there's 2 trades for you that you shouldn't have taken. And then on top of that, let's say you take losses on those trades. Now you got to go and take 4 trades to get you back to where you were. So now you've taken 6 trades in total that you really didn't need to take. And it's that to me anyway. That's what my killer was.
Yeah, my killer is knowing too much, and I put knowing in air quotes. In other words, between all the indicators and methods and systems and, chart patterns, it was one of those things where I guess you could say it was one of the biases where I could always say, okay, here's a reason to go long or here's a reason to go short, confirmation bias type of thing, as opposed to taking the big picture. So, and looking at reasons not to take the trade, or I would get set on one direction and not see opportunities in the other direction.
Right.
And that was a biggie for me. So now it's just like, well, you know what? I just need to take, a few trades a day, a handful maybe, and I can make my pips so long as I ride it. Like, right before we started the video, I was long at 00, and it had gotten all the way down to 93. Fortunately, I didn't get stopped out because I had a 10 pip stop loss. And then during the video, I just punched out for, 2 or 3 pips. But, just riding, the indicator too, and just using that trade, and I switched to 5-minute chart so I don't get all those 1-minute signals, because that's what was killing me. Because I'd see a signal and it's like, nope, that's not good enough. So if you look at the 5-minute chart, up at 27.27, we got a 2-ball, and then price just started going down. Now, had I been looking at the 1-minute chart, I can see there's probably a bunch of places where I may have taken a trade to go long. But, I just decided, nope, I'm going to wait till I get a aqua dot on indicator 2, and that's when I'll go long.
Yeah, that'll certainly cut down. You said 2 things, and they're really important. But I think the one that was really important is, for most trades, is you can look at, I don't care what time frame, but you can look at a chart, and depending on how many different methods you can find a reason either to go long or short. Okay, on every single candle. And that's the danger, and that's why you got to sit there and figure out what your method's going to be, and then once you figured out what your method's going to be, you then got to go and say, okay, now if this is my method, you got to put the proper money management and risk management in place that goes and matches, that particular style of trade. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people get wrong. Money management is not necessarily the same across all methods of trading. Because the reality is, what you're looking for your entry, what you're looking for your exit, different methods are going to go and provide you with more or less pips, or, over more or less time. And so you got to go and set up your money management to protect your account and also match the method that you're using.
Yeah, that's true, because right now, in a way, I'm kicking myself because on this particular candle, price had come back down to the 00, and I was thinking, I should probably enter, but it's like, no, I'm in the video. And it's just like, well, right. That would have been another 5 pips.
Yeah, that's a rule, and that's a good rule, because let's face it, if you remember that cheat sheet that I put out there, just probably going back 3 years now, but basically the number 1 rule was, preserve capital. Number 2 rule was not to be distracted.
Right.
And, during the video, you're distracted. You're not fully engaged in what you're doing. The only way it's not, distracted at is if you just go and take your trades, and if the video turns out good, the video turns out good. If it doesn't, it doesn't,
Yeah. But anyway, traders, the fastest 15 minutes in trading is just about up. So I hope maybe you can take a look at yourselves and see, maybe if I cut down on some of those trades, because I'm sure there's a couple of trades that you probably are kicking yourself for not staying in longer, and there's probably a couple you're kicking yourself for getting in the first place. So when you sit down to trade, always remember, never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.